Pastors all over the country are praying and crying because they have a bunch of empty seats in church, empty seats in the choir, where people used to come Sunday after Sunday to worship God. There's a lot of concerns about, is it safe to go to church and not get detained or deported? Immigrants are deeply religious people, and these indiscriminate enforcement actions are threatening our religious liberty. We don't have an immigration litmus test to worship with people. I never ask anybody for their papers to come to church and worship. And pastors have to obey the law. We're not lawbreakers, but we also want to serve the people Christ has brought to us. That puts us in such an untenable position. You ever been in a living room with a family who's very, very deeply committed to Christ and can't go to church for a month, and that's their community? And faith is what sustains them. They're telling you in the living room with tears in their eyes, Pastor, I want to go, but I'm too afraid. What do you do?
I have the right to be here. I do not have to listen to you. This is the property of the church. This is Downey Memorial Christian Church, and we are not okay with you being on our property. All right? We are not okay with you being on our property.
I am winning some people from my church. They are coming to my home just to worship God. And so many of our people are scared. That's why I invite them right here to my place to sing, to praise God, to worship together with freedom.
Nosotros llegamos a este país, llegas solo, no conoces a nadie, y al congregarnos en la iglesia empiezas a conocer a la gente y es como tu segunda familia. Y para mí, el no estarnos congregando, te sientes desprotegido, es como me falta mi familia, entonces te sientes solo.
Es una persecución inmensa, la verdad. Yo estoy muy triste porque honestamente a mí este país me ha dado mucho, el sueño americano, y de eso no queda nada.
Ya queda con llave por la seguridad de nuestra comunidad para que nadie pueda entrar sin ser admitido. No queremos tener nuestra comunidad bajo amenaza. Iniciamos con esto de febrero para acá. Cada día hemos ido tomando mayor seguridad en nuestra comunidad. Me siento impotente, triste, con dolor e indignado. Nosotros tenemos por lo menos un 40% de personas que hemos perdido. La gente comenzó a llamarme con miedo. Padre, yo no voy a regresar a la iglesia. Con costo voy a la tienda y tu corazón te rompe. Es bien difícil cuando tú estás mirando un pueblo herido, sufrido y que necesita consuelo, necesita fortaleza, necesita esperanza. Buenos días, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos, qué bueno verles. Las ventanas están cerradas, no hay luz que entre al templo para que no pueda verse la gente que está dentro del templo. También celebramos con las puertas cerradas, nunca lo hacíamos antes. Tenemos guardias en las puertas. La comunidad norteamericana, que es muy solidaria, ayudan a nosotros a dar seguridad en la puerta, y como si alguien viene del ICE, ellos son los que van a acercarse a hablar como norteamericanos para dar la cara y defender a nosotros. Hay miembros que salen a supervisar los parqueos si hay alguien sospechoso, porque sabemos lo grave que es esto. Yo no le llamo ya miedo, es pánico. Se ha caído en una actitud de terrorismo psicológico.
My sister and I are from El Salvador. We arrived when we were 10 years old. My whole life has been in this country. I've never really thought of El Salvador being my home. I don't have a home over there. I don't have friends. I don't have family. All of my family pretty much is here. It's very heavy to constantly feel fear that at any moment, literally your life could change. It feels like we have to give up our freedom. You don't want to risk anything. You just have to stay at home. Simple as that. Even going to work. Am I going back home today? Am I going to see my parents? Am I going to see my dog? Very early on, my goal has been get good grades. Take all the AP courses that I can take. Even right now, with a whole college degree, I feel like I've done everything that I needed to do. But yet, just because of my status, I'm still not enough. One of the main things that has definitely hurt me has been my freedom to attend church, my freedom to serve God. We have served a church since we were like 12 years old. Years of serving the community. Yeah, you just feel like something is taken from you.
Since I stand in the front, I pretty much know where everyone sits. And I see people that are no longer coming. There comes a point where the church has to adapt, not give up. In the sense that if they can't come to my building, then I need to go to them.
Hi. Welcome. Hi. Come on in.
Thank you. So good to see you.
We can sit at the table.
The church is not the building. The church is us right now. We want people to understand that they are not alone. They're not by themselves. So today I would like to partake in the Holy Communion just as a remembrance. And so we can draw from His strength.
I feel like it has definitely made me feel very alone. But for a bit, I was so resentful to God. Like, wow, like I have been so faithful to you.
It's okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, I have served you for so many years.
One of the things He said on the cross is, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And we want to have forgiveness in our heart. We want to have grace and mercy, that God touches people's heart. And part of our prayer is that He touches Congress.
This is devastating our families and devastating our children. And anything that impacts our children and our families is of the highest priority. I'm here in DC today to meet with senators and congressmen and women to say, we can do better. We need immigration reform that's humane. We want a way to streamline these people so they can be legalized while we deal with violent criminal immigrants and while we deal with the border. And to make sure that churches continue to be sensitive locations, that we respect the freedom of worship. It's been that way for years. Why the change?
You're right, I did rescind that policy, but it's just like any other law enforcement agency. You could take the NYPD, they're not gonna go ahead and target a church or synagogue. We're not gonna do the same thing. If we're in a pursuit of a criminal alien or a felon and they run into a hospital or a church, well, we're gonna continue that pursuit. Nothing's off the table when it comes to that. But we're not actively targeting schools. We're not actively targeting hospitals. That's just, no law enforcement agency would do that. We don't do that. We do hear that ICE is, people are scared to send their children to school because they're afraid ICE is going to make arrests at schools. ICE isn't going to do that. The instance that people have brought up where ICE or Homeland Security special agents have been in schools is because we're dedicated to find those 300,000 unaccompanied minors. So we do welfare checks at the schools, but it's only to go ahead and try to make sure that these people are with the right sponsor or with the family, not being exploited, not being trafficked. The last known address might be that school. So there's been a few instances. We had one out of California that, again, was painted in the wrong light. We were trying to rescue children, not making arrests.
But you're not going into schools and churches to carry out arrests?
No, we're not.
Yo tengo en mi haber ya 26 niños, de los cuales yo tendría que ser responsable por si los papás son arrestados y deportados. Ellos están confiando en lo más sagrado que son sus hijos. Sé que es una gran presión, pero tenemos que seguir los pasos de Jesús. El buen pastor da la vida por sus ovejas. Estamos llamados a hacer eso.
La semana pasada mi marido salió de trabajar. A las 7 de la mañana me hablan sus compañeros de trabajo que a qué horas había salido porque no llegaba. Y me entra una llamada de un número desconocido de la ciudad y yo contesto y es él. Y me dice, lo más difícil, me agarró migración, cuida a mis hijos y me cuelga. Eso es realmente lo difícil, saberlas consolar. Porque ¿cómo le dices a un niño que anhela a su papá, que está esperando la hora que llegue a su papá? Hija, hoy papi no va a poder llegar. Es difícil. Dentro de esta anormalidad normal que le quiero mantener a mis hijas, ir a la iglesia, ver a sus amigos de la iglesia, pues esa es como su constante. Pero si me detienen a mí y si nos separan, ¿y qué va a pasar con mis niñas? ¿Cómo voy a hacer para sacar a mis niñas de este país? Si vamos a tener que dejarlo un poquito de lado.